edition of MacleodFCTV, coming to you live from the rear of the Lexus of Blackburn coaches box here. This is where the big decisions are made on a Saturday. Coming up on today's show, we've got throw and leg over with Legs, who'll be joining me later on. Pup's going to blow off some steam. We catch up with Ralphy for a Ralphy's roast. We also catch up with new player Dave Adams and talk to Scott Hills about his win of the Steve Rowley medal. That and more on MacleodFCTV. Welcome to episode 2 of Throw a Leg Over with Legs. We're going to go through some of last week's key points. Now first, let's start off with the positives. The 19s last week were terrific. Three-quarter time the game was quite even. It was high scoring, but in the third quarter, Jono Manzoni, our new coach, decided that he'd trial the very controversial, the new energy drink really, that the government wants to bring in at three-quarter time, and they just went whackety-whack and kicked, what was it, Mouldo?
13, mate.
13 goals in the last quarter. The Twos unfortunately had a bit of a disappointing loss.
They didn't have the energy drink.
No, we didn't have the energy drink. But the ones, here comes the footy, yours, Mouldo. The ones were just a little bit disappointing. They should have probably won the game at the end. They went down by, they were 4 points down in the last quarter, but just had a couple of cooler heads at the end. I think Presti took a nice mark in the dying moments. Can't really argue with losing to the last year's premiers by only 10 points. But later in the year, at their ground, possibly a win on the cards. But this weekend, no footy games, which does not mean that there's any less activities on. There's a lot of birthdays this week. We've got Brett Wilding's 21st down at the club. Big D's holding something. Former player or watcher, Big D, is holding his 21st or 22nd or however old he is at his house. So there's plenty of events on for everyone to get around in. I'm sure we're going to have some cracking stories. Very similar to General, probably not going to the game. There was a Whittlesea a couple of weeks back. He was there at three-quarter time. The game was in the balance, and he decided to leave because he had to go home to his girlfriends and watch Dexter and eat some pizza, which is a little disappointing from Big Ralphy. So we'll see how he goes with moving in with a new miss over the next coming weeks. We will try and get to you a couple of good Ben Cavalli impersonations over the next few weeks as well, because I know some of the boys have been practicing that while out and about. Anyway, that's it for this week's Throwing a Leg Over with Legs.
Just moved into Dr. Tal's medical room here with a new player, DA Dave Adams. Dave, welcome to MacleodFCTV, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Good. Now, what's the go? You've been training with us for about 5 years. It's been the longest pre-season. You played your first game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What was the deal there, mate? What got you over the line?
I'd obviously got good boys like Longy and Andy in here all day.
Yeah?
Yeah, like the young students of the club.
Longy's been referred to as the Noel Judkins or the Derek Hine of the Macleod Football Club, just constantly recruiting. Him and his Macleod. What are your thoughts on the club so far, mate?
Oh, fantastic.
Apart from Longy.
Fantastic, mate.
Good. Papa not bad?
Papa's good.
Eat a pie?
Can eat a pie.
Mate, there's been rumours that you're that sometimes you let the eyes rise up a bit and look for targets instead of having shots on goal.
Yeah.
Are you just an unselfish player, or?
It's whatever strikes the mood at the time.
Plans for the season, mate?
Just keep going along. Hope to make final. There we go.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the club, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Sitting down after training with Scott Hills here, winner of the Steve Rowley medal and fantastic star of the under-19s from this year and also last year. Hillsy, congratulations on the medal, mate.
Thanks.
How does it feel?
I don't know. Bit shocked, to be honest.
shocked.
There was a lot of good players out there, especially I thought Yarwood was up there as well.
Yarwood.
Yeah, a bit shocked to pinch it.
And it was pretty neck and neck up until the last quarter. What happened? Take a few energy drinks, the rumours are, those government subsidised energy drinks, Legs.
Could say that. Boys just switched on, were really enthusiastic. Like, West Preston just seemed to switch off towards the end. I reckon we just ran away with it.
And what about the bloke with the long hair and the beard that looks a bit like Jesus? How did you go up against him in the ruck?
I'm not a fan of him actually.
No?
Out there the courtyard, I reckon.
He has pretty large bristles going on here. It is a bit more full length than mine.
He does look like Jesus.
Should Longy be worried about his spot in the seniors?
Yeah, should he?
He shouldn't be.
He had the potential to be given some opportunities last year, so if they're up again, you're going to take him to play the ones?
I'll play.
We know the big puff daddy would love to see you up there. Mate, congratulations on the good start of the season. All the best for the year.
Too easy. Thanks, boys.
Alright, new segment this week, we got Ralphy's roast. Ralphy Lynch, coach of the Rezzies, mate. Great win round 1, round 2, filling the gaps. What happened?
Beaten by a much more complete outfit.
They looked well oiled.
They were very, very
They looked
good.
well drilled. There was a few of them looked like they were boxing here at about 9:15.
Oh yeah, they were very sensational and very nicely dressed.
They were. Something our boys could learn possibly, or
Yeah, well, certainly Rosie. Usually got his bloody board shorts on and things like
there's rumours he ducked off for a pizza at 3/4 time of the seniors, and then to go cuddle up with the Dale. What are your thoughts on that?
He might as well have ducked off 3/4 time with his twos because he wasn't meant
Didn't get a kick. What about some of the big names to return this year? We've got Lundberg, Singaris, Blackwood, Forrester, Barker, Brotherton.
Oh, they're a dime a dozen, but to be honest, you haven't seen the best out of some of them at the moment. Probably Kane Barker, he's yet to shine. He's probably yet to show his true potential.
One of the best trainers, just can't take it onto a Saturday.
Looks $1 million. He's stripped down. He's ready. He looks fit as a fiddle. I just need to get him to get the footy now. I'm sure it'll come to him.
What about Zeus's chest?
Zeus's chest is waxed very nicely.
And in comparison to F1s, are we talking what sort of size? I think there's only
the old
a few centimetres.
the old F1 on the weekend had a bit of a Zeus effort late in the game where he tried to lay about 4 or 5 tackles, but he found Stoffel. But which was a bit better than Zeus, because I think even Zeus by his own undertaking on the weekend would probably didn't trouble the scorers too often.
No, plenty of chances for that though. What about just one final one? There's a rumoured milestone coming up for you in the next few weeks.
Oh yes, could be true.
Could be true.
Could be true.
We'll talk about that later.
Coaching my 20th game.
20th game. Yeah, thanks, Ralphy.
Very good.
Ralphy's race,
There you
boys.
go.
That'll be back later.
Good on you, boys.
Puck's going to blow off from 15 now.
Is it recording?
We've only got 2 questions this week.
Yep.
We matched up very well against West Preston. Do you think we can get them back on the return?
Well, I think we can. I think we seem to match up all around the ground, so you never know.
Question on everyone's lips has been this week. After the game, we were walking out to the ground. I was a couple of metres behind you, and there was a lady screaming out, "Papa! Papa!"
This guy on TV, is it?
Yeah.
That's great.
And that was a lovely Dale, and
she's
there
done it
was a
before.
few heated words exchanged, and you told her to
Shush.
yes,
Yeah.
shush.
I do that quite often at home. But no, that's what these luncheons at Macleod are killing me. She's pissed by 3/4 time. So, and don't worry, it's happened many times before. Every time at luncheon, she feels like she wants to coach. I think about 5 minutes to go in the game too, she also yelled up the coach's box saying David Adams needed a rest. So I knew he needed a rest, and then by the end of the game when she says, I don't even know what she said, I was a bit angry, I was waiting for the umpires by the stage. But I think she said not to yell at the umpires or something.
5 minutes
Sunday morning
apart.
she didn't even realise she said it. She was pissed.
That's it. Puff's blown some steam again. He'll do that again next week, I'm sure.
I'll be trying to get up for this. Alright, thanks.
That's it for this week's episode of MacleodFCTV, which was proudly brought to you by Alexis of Blackburn, a platinum sponsor here at the South Footy Club. This week we play North Heidelberg with the games going back to the normal time on Saturday. That's at Shelley Park. After that we'll be back here for some free drinks, watching the footy on the big screen from 7 to 10:30, and of course there'll be a happy hour of pizzas provided. See you next week.